How different?
Yes, absolutely. Welcome back.
Hello.
It's me, Lee, and Danish Pete with you today.
Is it though? Is it though?
Or is it some AI fake?
Is
Who
it?
knows?
Who knows?
Wouldn't that be great? Can we do that? Can we do that, Tay? Can we get AI versions? As I said, Strymon Iridium's pretty much the OG of this kind of pedal format amp in a box. Everything you're hearing today is Pete plugged into his pedal board, plugged into one of these two pedals, and then straight into our interface. This sparked a ton of alternatives from most pedal brands, to be honest, from Boss through to Walrus. Tried to think of A to Z, but I could only go B to W.
Have you watched The Walrus, the film? The Walrus? Have you watched that? Have you not watched that? Johnny Depp is actually in it.
Is he?
Yeah. Look it up. Look it up. It's fun.
And anyway, loads of good ones. So the Iridium we always tend to use as kind of like a sort of
benchmark.
A benchmark. That was the word. 350 quid for the Iridium, so it's one of the more expensive ones.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe things like those UAD Lions and Dreams and stuff might be even a bit dearer still.
But they're only one amp in one pedal.
So the NUX Amp Academy is certainly better featured than the Iridium. It's half the price of the Iridium, but does it sound any better or even as good? So where shall we start? Let's do a very quick overview again of the Iridium. We're using the latest version of this, which was the version that came out, I think, in October 2023.
It needs a bit of an update, doesn't it? Wasn't it October? Wasn't it before that?
No.
So it's a recent update. Okay.
Yeah, I think when you say an update, maybe the feature set of this feels a little bit old.
Maybe
now.
like just needs a Mark II version, like the pedals they did, USB-C.
On the screen here, you can see the Strymon Iridium is hyper simple to use. You only use the editor on the screen here to change and load in new IRs. Without that, you can't edit it, save stuff, do anything else like that on the editor. It's all about the pedal, which I guess is a good thing, right?
Easy.
So here we've got three basic amp models, one based on a Fender, one based on a Vox, and one based on a Marshall. Three different cabinet emulations, which again, as I said, from the editor, you can update those if you want to. A simple 3-band EQ, drive, level, room reverb, and then the option to turn it on and off and store a favorite. So you could have two basic settings in here. It is mono in, stereo out from memory. There's a headphone socket on it. What's that other switch on the back? MIDI and MIDI or expression
mono,
Okay, so that's the Iridium. And as we go through comparing it to the NUX, I'm sure you'll hear some of the other settings in here. Now, if I dive over to what comes with the Amp Academy, you will see a substantially more featured app, which this works, and again you can run this on your phone or on a laptop, but you've got to connect.
You have to have that
it's
cable,
not wireless.
Yeah.
So you can see going from where it says preamp and it says channel A vintage, channel B brown. You'll see actually there are 6 selectable amp models from here, and actually each of those 6 has 3 variants. So what is that? 18?
I don't know, I'm bad
18
with
different variants that you can select from here. You've then got...
It's like COVID,
yeah, absolutely. You've got noise reduction, you've got an effect block that you can put in here, which actually, if I show you on this drop down, you can see some of the different effects, a little bit like having a pedal beforehand.
I wonder what a T-Scream is.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Obviously, you've got your amp models, you've got your IRs, which, like the Strymon, you can load your own IRs, and if you want to, you've got some EQ. I'm not sure what's S&R. Oh,
send and return.
Send and return, of course.
Oh yes,
it
it comes with a little cable that you put in, and you can send and return. So
the effects loop's on a TRS jack, and it comes with the sort of the one jack input to 2 sockets to give you your effects loop. And then there's a few more reverbs, I think, on the NUX. So yeah, you can choose from 5 different types of reverb.
Yeah,
there,
with that,
which is
just only have the room, right?
Yeah.
And it's got a looper, all sorts of stuff.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I don't know how good they were, but we've got a drum machine and a looper built in, albeit that I haven't worked out if you can actually activate the looper from the
But I don't even think we need to go there today.
No,
I think it's just about what do they sound like.
Indeed.
Feature-wise, it's got so many more features, you know, with an actual XLR DI out.
Oh yeah, good point, absolutely. So let's just hear some of the presets from within the NUX. So that first little setting you heard there was a Fender Twin Reverb preamp, but actually I changed it to be a deluxe IR because the Iridium is a deluxe. But let's change that back now, and we'll just go with their default sort of settings. So we've got, I might as well do it from the app actually, because then I can show you all the sub versions of it all. So here is our Fender Twin Reverb. Here is
got a nice
our
reverb on there.
Super Reverb.
Got that low end, that
unnatural low end.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's designed for your ears in the small room. Anyway.
Here is a deluxe reverb.
With no reverb or no?
Yeah, so obviously each of these has...
Sorry.
Each of these amp models obviously have got their own unique preset settings here. So let's just, I can add back in, okay, a little bit of spring reverb there. So that's a good opportunity to go. So that's what NUX or NUX think a Fender Deluxe sounds like. This is what Strymon think one sounds like.
I mean, that's weird that they sound so different, but they're supposed to be the same amp. Whether
we've come across, do you know what? Again,
many things.
Every time we've demoed the Strymon, on the Fender setting, it has in the room what often feels like a slightly overwhelming mid-range, creating a slightly more boxy sound. I would say most variants, most alternatives to the Strymon have that more scooped mid-range and heavy bass end that the NUX has, which I think is quite pleasant to listen to in isolation. But actually, but you know, often when we listen back to it, you go, do you know what? The Strymon does feel more
real.
But
it just has a more authentic sound. But there was also something that somebody pointed out in the past with the middle switch, that it acted like a brown face and black face, right? Was that what it was?
I think essentially what they're saying is the more mid-range you take out of a deluxe, the more the tone stack becomes like a blackface deluxe. The more mid-range you put in, the more it's like perhaps a more of a, not necessarily tweed, but
just
more of a brown face. Hang on, we better be on the right one.
Oh yeah, we'd be the right one. But you're right, it's got that. I want to put in more treble there.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sounds good. But you have to get used to it. The ear has to get used to it for a little bit before you...
So back to our NUX. So that's our 3 vintage options.
Okay.
Classic, we've got Vibra King.
Oh yeah, that's that old sort of rattly.
A Dr. Z.
Oh yeah, okay. I haven't played many of them, so I don't know.
What else we got here? Now they're again a little bit noisy, right? But I do have noise reduction.
Ah, so yeah, okay.
Which I'm not a huge fan, but. I mean, without the noise reduction, you know, we have a lot of stuff in this room that might be causing some mains. Obviously, it's a single coil guitar. But anywho,
nice
then
sound,
we've got
sound.
AC30. I don't know.
With the AC30s always a difficult one.
Always. Cali Crunch.
Cali
Put
Crunch.
A bit of reverb back on each of these.
Look, it says Boogie 2C.
Yeah, you will need to disregard where the knobs are set on the pedal as I'm going through these presets. Just look at where they're set on the screen. On the screen.
I mean, a Mark II C, who's played, not many people have played that amp.
Brit Blues.
I would expect a bit more overdrive on that.
Yeah, I think Channel A are all the clean ones, aren't they? Or cleanish.
Listen to that. There's that low end that's just... I mean, in the room we got two generators in here.
I always think
it's very unnatural.
It's artificial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pleasant in isolation, but actually when you hear it compared to a real amplifier, unrealistic.
Yeah, it's like having a conversation with somebody that's just a bit blank but looks really nice. You know what I mean?
What we didn't do actually was, if I go back to the AC30 here, of course that is what the chimier Strymon is supposed to be. So I think I just want to gain that up just a smidge. The mid-range on the Strymon is
more correct.
It feels more realistic, doesn't it?
Yeah. AC is always a not easy one to get right,
no,
is it?
But I think
I think that's more
Strymon
authentic.
Get it more right than NUX.
But what do you expect? It's more money, man. Now
we've gone over to channel B, the noise gate. So let's talk about this. I don't know whether you're hearing it in the through your speakers at home or whatever, but without the noise gate on any of the NUX amplifiers that have even got a hint of gain on it, there's a unpleasant background noise, of digital background noise. In fact, let's go back to that AC30 one. Yeah, there you go. So you can hear that, right? Not very pleasant to listen to. I guess we're fairly loud, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I can get rid of it, absolutely get rid of it with the noise reduction. However, there's a great example of what Pete and I hate about noise gates, which is when the noise threshold is just on that level where the noise suppressor can't work out, is that unwanted background noise or is that actually just the noise of the guitar? And when it can't differentiate, it sort of just goes, oh, cut it out, leave it, cut it out, leave it, cut it out, leave it.
And it could maybe there's a setting where it's a bit more subtle, I don't know.
I'm sure we can adjust, I can adjust the threshold of the noise gate, but
a good example is the Fender Toadmaster Pro. They've taken it off because we mentioned it so many times. Yeah. So they haven't put the noise gate on. You could put it on yourself.
My preference always the other day with background noise is just to leave it in because as soon as you start playing the guitar, you can't hear it.
And it's real.
Anyway, let's go to these Channel B ones where the noise gate is always on. Oh, I skipped one. Fireman, I'm guessing is Friedman. Brit 800. Maybe this is a good time to show you what perhaps, throwing a tube screamer in front of one of those would be. Lone Star maybe?
L-Star,
Not sure. I wouldn't have said that was a gainy amp.
No, I wouldn't either. Sounds good though.
Yeah. That's the best clean sound they've had so far. Let's go back
Still a little bit on this.
Let's try it against. So I'm going to just go back to the the Strymon on the Deluxe.
I like you can EQ it as well.
You've got tons of features.
Iridium now.
Yeah.
It's just
It's classic digital amp modelling.
Yeah, but that's digital as well. But I think it's that what you want to hear. This is the sound you want to hear, and this is the sound that is the real sound. If that makes sense.
I agree.
If you know how sorry. Oh, no. If you know how that one of those amps actually sound in real life.
Yeah.
And if you played one before, because I think, well, we know like Digital John never played and real amp till he came in here, and I think that's not. On what is it called? That's not uncommon today. People just go, well, I'm just going to use my Vox AC30, but never plugged into one, and maybe they never will. So definitely Lone Star. That's an amp nobody will play.
I don't mind that Lone Star though sound. So
it's nice and it's comfortable in my ears, you know.
I'm sorry, I was just again putting a little something on it.
Go on, just the RC Boost is a great pedal.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave it on the RC Boost.
Before you do that next, that's fine.
Sorry.
Let's just go over here, back to the Iridium, and put the Dane on.
Good idea. I mean, the Iridium does take pedals well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see how the NUX. So I've put you back on that Lone Star sound, but with no.
Okay, so
boost.
Here comes the Dane. It's fine. I mean, I still want to. It's funny. I want to put more low end in that all the time, but it's not the right. I don't know. It makes me. It's comfortable, but it's
so interesting that again, and I think you can. There are so many examples, I think, where you've got a pedal like this and you're playing through studio monitors and you're on your own. Almost every preset that you would make would be wrong for a band setting. You'd have too much reverb, too much bass end, too much chorus, you know, all that stuff. Correct. But it'll sound epic in here and you'll have the best time ever.
Yeah.
But I think you do have to be quite disciplined in going, if I'm going to have one of these pedals that's half for home, half for live, I need two banks of what I'm going to do, you know.
That was a good, when you had an interview with, Chris Shiflett.
Yes.
He was saying exactly the same thing. You make your mistakes of making your in-ear sound, and then you think it sounds really good, and you get out to a band, and it sounds completely wrong. Or was that somebody else that said that?
No, it was Chris Shiflett.
Yeah,
absolutely. Clang. Right.
What a legend.
Dual. We've got to go back to this one. Dual Rectiverb.
Take the reverb off, it just seems unnecessary. It's a nice rock tone.
I am going to go over now to the Strymon on its punch sound. I got a feeling this is a more vintage Marshall sound, and actually there aren't many vintagey Marshall options on the NUX. But let's just see.
For not adding.
Let's just see what it sounds like. I knew that was coming.
I said it anyway. I couldn't help myself. Low end in it.
Yeah, it's probably slightly unfair in that. Let me see if I can find more of a. I mean, here's a Brit 2000 more Marshall. I do vaguely remember on the Iridium feeling like lower gain Marshall settings were more in its comfort zone than higher gain Marshall settings.
I mean, I prefer the Iridium.
Yeah, so do I. Okay, anyway, that was... Let's try back on the... Leave it on that guitar, it's a good one to go. So, SLO vibe.
But if you've never plugged into a real SLO, here we go again.
£4,000 amp versus £160 pedal.
Exactly, but then don't expect it to sound like one.
Exactly.
I can't believe I just said that. That's actually really good. It's not bad, but don't expect it to sound like one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That does sound good, doesn't it? This is so... It's that unnatural. I'm not saying it's bad. That's not... Don't get me wrong out there. And if you got one, you know, you didn't buy something bad. It's almost like a sample rate.
I love that there is a setting on the amp so that the highest gain settings on the NUX are called the Iridium settings. So just to get super confused. Anyway, this is a diesel VH4
so have a listen to this.
It?
It's almost like it's not processing the sound quick enough. If that makes any sense. So if you got more sound tones than one, it's almost like it's going up. That note, that note.
You're not getting the note clarity on the strings, or the string clarity.
And then not only that, but also the all of the nuances of the picking, how soft or hard you're picking. It almost it sounds like it's confused in a way, a bit like me. It feels like it's confused with that note. Can you see what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's like the pedal is confused.
So, my gut, I think my general senses here is that the sort of natural order of the world has been, re-established, and in that the simpler, more expensive one sounds better, but the cheaper, far more fully featured one sounds worse.
But it sounds okay, man. There's nothing. It doesn't sound bad.
What you're basically saying is, you pay your money, you take your choice. You can have less features, better sound, more expensive pedal, way more features, not as good a sound, half the price.
Can I take the gain down on that a little bit, just see what happens? I know. What's the reverb in here? Is that on here?
Over here.
Yeah, turn it off, please. Yeah. Sorry.
This preset has got a pedal on it as well, so I'll take that off as well. Just the amp now.
That's better. Oh, I can't.
It's funny, isn't it?
There you go. I mean, you can fiddle,
look,
I think presets are never the best thing anyway to go
Again,
after.
just looking at other stuff on here, of course, all of the IRs here are from a company called Choptones. I don't know how good or bad they are in the world of IRs, but you could absolutely elect to load your own ones in. Again, the NUX has more effects in it. It has more programmable, they call them scenes, but patches. Yeah, you've got XLR DI output. I mean, it's funny, really, isn't it? It's that the NUX is more pro featured. Look, we've got a ground. Sorry, what's that? IR out and DI lift.
Yeah.
Anyway, look.
Aux in, headphones.
I don't think there's really a. I keep saying this. There's not.
You do you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. if you're sort of sitting there going, do you know what, 160 quid, that's about the limit that I want to spend on a pedal. And this is a USB audio interface as well.
Yeah,
so if you wanted to record, there's a ton of stuff. I think you can reamp using the NUX. So
links below, and you know what's most important?
What is
like
most
and
important? Well remembered, saved. 97th minute penalty save.
Nobody is in there. Nobody's still in the video.
See you next time. Bye bye.